writer who created it. We'll introduce you on Meet the Author, on television, radio and online.
Tonight at 10, commemorations get underway in Belgium to mark the centenary of the Battle of Passchendaele, one of the bloodiest of World War I. Remembering the fallen, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge attend a special service at the Menin Gate, which stands on the road taken by so many to the front line.
100 years on, we still stand together, gathering, as so many do every night, in remembrance of that sacrifice.
And tonight, thousands watched on in the town of Ypres as the story of the battle was retold.
Also on tonight's programme, there's a show of strength from America in East Asia after another ballistic missile test by North Korea. More violence in Venezuela during controversial elections for a new parliament to change the constitution.
Good evening from Tyne Cot Cemetery in Belgium, the final resting place for almost 12,000 Allied soldiers who died in World War I. Most of them were killed in the Battle of Passchendaele, which began here 100 years ago tomorrow. It was one of the bloodiest battles of the conflict. In all, 500,000 Allied and German soldiers were killed, wounded or went missing in just 3 months of fighting. This evening, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge joined the Prime Minister, Theresa May, here as 2 days of commemorations to mark the start of the battle got underway. Robert Hall reports. And briefly, we're at the centenary. 100 years now. Will these commemorations continue?
I think so. We've seen thousands of people coming here this weekend to commemorate this battle. People are discovering new things about their family history and the history of the war all the time. So there's no sense of it coming to an end anytime soon.
Thank you for joining me. Well, that is all from us here in Belgium for tonight. In a moment, the news where you are, but we will leave you with some images from this evening's events to remember the Battle of Passchendaele.
I'll wager a hat full of guineas against all of the songs you can sing, that someday you'll love and the next day you'll lose, and winter will turn into spring.
20 years ago, Mum said she was a lesbian. I was 4.
Our biggest fear was losing our children.
I want to know how society's attitude has changed since that day and whether it's now easier for parents coming out of the closet. I'll speak to my mums and to my brother and sisters about growing up with same-sex parents. I'll also meet a male couple to find out how their kids coped with being told Dad was gay. My Lesbian Mums, on Friday at 9:30.
Johnson Thompson, how does she do that? The champion becomes a legend. Laura Muir doing what she does best, digging deep. The crowd cheering him home. Oh, he's done it!
The World Athletics Championships 2017 starts Friday at 6 on BBC Two.
Hello, this is BBC News with Chris Rogers. Going to be taking a look at tomorrow morning's newspapers in just a moment. But first, let's bring you up to date with the headlines from the BBC. And our top story is, of course, the commemorations which have been held in Belgium to mark 100 years since the Battle of Passchendaele. And President Trump has been saying that China isn't doing enough to halt the weapons programs of North Korea. Of course, China being their closest ally. He took to Twitter for the latest attack on China. And of course, there's been military exercises over the Korean Peninsula in reaction to the latest ballistic missile test. Now, let me just tell you about the record number of criminals that have had their sentences increased under a scheme which allows members of the public to ask for them to be reviewed. Last year, 141 criminals in England and Wales had their sentences increased. The government says it wants to extend the scheme to include a number of terror-related charges. Aisling McVeigh reports.